Hi everybody, now it's time for dinner. We had a lot of fun with our lunches when we did the tortilla wraps or whatever you wanted to call them, fold over wraps, I'm not sure. But now it's finally mac and cheese time, yay! Here you go. First of all, I did make a nice little toddy because I know my cousin Lisa thinks I should have a wine in my hand, but I'm not a wine drinker. So today's toddy is brought to you by, excuse me, let me go by. This was shown to me by Dawn Miller a long time ago, and I paired it up with a lot of fun, which is the Sobeys Strawberry Daiquiri, and it's a really good combination. A nice, sweet little fun thing to have. But now here we go. We are on mac and cheese. So now we're going to talk about variations. We're going to talk about all kinds of things. I've already got my pasta on to boil here. Great. I've already got my pasta on, that's telling me that my oven's at heat. I already got my pasta on to boil here. What I did is I just put like 2/3 of a box of this with water, and as the water finally starts boiling, I put a little salt in it so that it doesn't stick together. But come on over here and see an array of pastas we can use. Everybody always thinks macaroni is the only pasta for macaroni and cheese. Au contraire, my friends. I love small shells, large shells, gemelli. These are I call them bow ties. I love them. Penne, rotini, and these are just some of them. Just any fun pasta. Because it actually is a little more fun to have your pasta different than just macaroni every time. So as you can see, they're almost ready here, and I'm going to grab one of them out here and put that in here to test to see if it's actually ready or not. They look like they are. Yeah, I'm going to give them just another minute though. While we come on over here, so there's two ways. I always love to have onions in ours, Tim and I, onions. And I'm going to put some mushrooms in today too. One of my hoarded cans of mushrooms, of course. One of the two ways to quickly get yourself a bunch of cut up onion is to do what my mother used to do, and I know Mary's going to be like, yep, my mom did that too, was to cut crossways on your onion and then cut crossways again all the way across, and see how you have nice dices when we're done. So I'm going to turn these down a little bit, and then you just clip off the top, and suddenly you have all these really neat little pieces really fast. The other way, and I do this as well, the other way is to, like we were doing it with French onion soup, just cut them in big giant circles. I grab that circle, just pop out the center, and then quickly, bam. See what I'm doing here? Bam, just going around the circle, and they fall apart into nice. I like these pieces because they tend to be bigger than those little tinier ones. So anyways, I just want to quickly get a whole bunch of onions here, and then we're going to grab that pasta off. So again, here's the diced up section. You see how easy that is to just fall into pieces. We're going to use the diced up section here a little bit. Whoops, some of that wasn't diced all the way through because I knew I'd use both ends of the onion on different ways, so I didn't put that one all the way through. So I'm trying to get a bunch of onion here, and I'm going to put, I'm going to saute that. I just threw like 3 pads of butter in there to saute my mushrooms and onions in. Okay, I want more. I love mushrooms and onions. Now the thing to do mushrooms and onions is not the only thing you can put in here. The wonderful thing about macaroni and cheese is that you can put anything in it. Vegetarians or other people like to just put vegetables. Now I love, but Tim won't let me because he doesn't care for peas. I love to put peas in it. I think it's fun, but I haven't since we've been together because he doesn't care for it. You can actually put your meat in here. So when it gets to the part where it heads, oops, he's taking a snag on an onion as usual. When it gets to the part where we're going to put it in the oven soon, just before you do that, one of the ingredients you can add to it can be ham, or you can dice up some hot dogs. We're going to do our hot dogs on the side. I am such a hot dog snob. I will not eat it at all unless it's a Mackenzie natural casing Franks. But that's what we're going to do, but we're going to put ours on the side. But it's fun if you wanted to dice them up, you know, and put them in there so it has another level of flavor. I can remember asking somebody once how they care for their macaroni and cheese, and they said, oh, it has really good flavor, but it's kind of bland because it didn't have any texture. So you probably can hear me better now that I'm not competing with can't believe I didn't think to turn the fan off earlier. So yeah, you put your hot dogs, your ham, your, I don't know, hamburger, I don't know, whatever your flavors are that you like, or some vegetables like broccoli would be cool in here. Peas is my favorite, but, and then again, I've got the canned mushrooms because right now, in lockdown, as long as we are, there's no way I could buy mushrooms enough to take me through the time we're in lockdown and to be able to cook with them, because they would be gone, they would be bad in a week. So this is the way to do it. Take the water off the top. I just open it a little bit so it has enough pouring space. Whoops, one fell up. And there you go. So now, while we're doing the next part, I'm going to have these sauteing on the side. I noticed when I was watching a couple of the playbacks here to make sure that I wasn't making a fool of myself with these videos, I watched a couple of playbacks for fun, and I realized that I'm not really showing you all complete parts of cooking, so I was trying to get more into making sure you could see all the part of what I'm making, and not just have me explain it to you and say, oh, this is going to look like this when it's done, or this is going to be like that. I'm trying to cook it on site. I'm not Rachel Ray, and I don't have several people running around my kitchen to be able to do things behind the scenes, so I'm trying to still be able to accomplish kind of what she does. But okay, you can see how big they are now. They're definitely done. I'll steal one just to see, but I know they're done. Yep. So the other thing about this is that we don't really need to dirty another pan. What I'm going to do is just take my macaroni, and it doesn't really matter if I've got too much. When I'm putting it all together in my pan that goes in the oven, it doesn't really matter if I have too much, because I just poured out a little bit on the side, and I can make like a little bit of salad for myself tomorrow. So I'm just going to use this pan now to make the next part of macaroni and cheese. And this is the big secret part. This is where everybody says, oh my God, I have a hard time with it, I don't understand it. This is really easy. So the thing to understand, so if you're just two people with small appetites, doing, making it with 2 cups of milk is more than plenty, which is what I considered doing with Tim and I, the 2 cups of milk tonight, but I always make the 3 cups with daycare and everything else. I'm used to that size. And then Tim said, well, why don't you just make your normal, and we'll have leftovers. So I'm like, okay, so that's what I'm doing. So here you go. We'll look down on the counter here. This is what we've got. For every 1 cup, these are my last 3 cartons of these, so Tim can't pick on me anymore. For every 1 cup of milk, and a half pint equals 1 cup, because a pint equals 2 cups. So for every 1 cup of milk, it is 2 tablespoons of flour and 2 tablespoons.
That's butter.
2 tablespoons of flour and 2 tablespoons of butter, and that's what the ratio is. So if you're going to cook for just a small family, or just like a husband and wife or something, you're going to use 4 tablespoons of butter, 4 tablespoons of flour, and 2 cups of milk. And as you can see, if you can zoom down in there at all, you can see I threw some salt and pepper just to my own taste. I just threw salt and pepper. And the brownish stuff is garlic powder. So here we go. We're going back on the same burner because it should be already hot. Sorry about the steam, but I have a hard time talking over the thing, so we're going to let it steam away. And first thing we do is melt our butter, which only takes a minute. Melt your butter in your pan. Yes, I use butter. I'm sure that you could use margarine or other butter replacements. Like we spoke the other night about how I haven't tried it yet, but I have purchased a couple of different plant butters. Like this one's olive oil. I have another one up there too. Haven't tried them yet, but those would certainly be a healthier choice, I'm sure, than just butter. But that's what I do. So we're going to go over here and peek at how I'm getting these sauteed, these mushrooms and onions, because these are going to go in the middle. Tim and I are not going to add anything else to our macaroni and cheese. We're going to go mushrooms and onions, and that's it. But again, you could add mushrooms, onions, you could put peppers in there, you could put peas in there, you could put hot dogs, ham. There's so many things. Whatever you're jonesing for at the time, or whatever you've got sitting on the shelf. Remember, we're trying to cook with whatever you've got sitting around on the shelves and sitting in the refrigerator. We're trying to remember that we can cook and have really good nutritious meals without having to run out and buy everything each time. So if you shop in a certain way like I do, with a lot of things in mind, then you don't really have to go out anywhere. Okay, you can see the butter is almost melted. I'll kind of see it's just a one piece left. So as soon as that's melted, and I gotta grab a whisk. As soon as that, well, that's not the one we're gonna use. So as soon as that's what, I have two of everything. Yes, I do. I do.
5-second roll.
Nope, not 5-second roll on that. So you can see the butter's all melted. So quickly, let me turn these down a little bit so nothing happens to them. Quickly, I throw in, again, I'm using 3 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of flour, a handful of, you know, like however much to taste of salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And there's my 3 cups of milk. That's what's going to happen. Let me turn this down a little bit so nothing else happens to it, because we're getting just a little bit cooked a little too fast. Not adding more butter because I don't want them to stick to the bottom, and I don't want them to get hurt by the high heat. So that's why I keep moving them around. Sauteing mushrooms and onions, it's really a good idea to keep moving them around. Of course, you know what I'm going to add in a couple of minutes just before it's done. Yep, I'm going to put garlic. So you can see how I threw this in here. And when I did, what I'm going to do is, and I'm going to, can you bring the camera over to see what I'm doing, hun? Oh, they can see inside there? Oh, great. So what I'm trying to do is see how it's, once that's done, very quickly, you're going to add your milk. There's 1 cup. There's 2 cups. And there's 3 cups. And I can't believe, the one thing I forgot to hold out, I already have my ingredients out all the time. I haven't got my different cheeses out yet. So, oh, this looks fantastic. Wow. I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab some cheeses. So keep an eye on that. So I use a multitude of different cheeses in here, and literally it is a case of what is in my fridge. So I'm going to pull out a handful of different cheeses to be used. I hope you heard what I just said. When I make macaroni and cheese, I literally just use what I have on hand. Sometimes it's this and other things. You know, these are just American cheese slices. Here's some Swiss. Here's mozzarella. Here's the cheese I just bought yesterday. A really nice bunch of American cheese here. Wait, American cheese. I'm just going to throw in different ones because, boy, it's fun, all the flavors you get when you are putting just a bunch of cheeses together like that. Okay, these guys are almost done. And as you can see, they're becoming opaque. The color is see how the color of the onions changed and it's turning opaque? Not that there's color in onions. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say color. They're not completely white anymore. They're turning opaque. They're turning almost see-through. And in just a second, I'm going to give this a quick stir because I don't want anything to settle or to globulate or anything in here. So I still have it on high because I need it to boil. Yes, it is. Actually, I think it is. We'll go look it up later because I know how you hate my words. But over here, I'm going to do what I did before, just before these are done cooking. See what I do? I just kind of throw myself right here. Wham. Bam. In that goes. Yep. Love it. And that, of course, gives it that last, oh, would you stop doing that, Paula? That last flavor that we're looking for. And I'm going to turn them off because there's still enough heat on the stove that they'll cook for a little while longer. And it'll be just the right amount of time. If they feel like they're cooking a little too much, I'll just push them off on the back burner. Now this is what has got to go next. So I wanted to try to cook them together so you wouldn't be bored watching one or the other. So the next thing is this has to boil. Well, this is, because it's right up on high right now, while that's waiting to boil, I'm going to explain to you what I'm going to put on top. This is my mom's thing. Since we were kids, Mom would make her macaroni and cheese homemade like this, and then she would take butter and Ritz crackers and put it on top. So I'm going to melt the butter in the microwave quickly to be able to accomplish that. I'm going to come away so we don't have the sound of the microwave, so come on over. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what's going on tomorrow morning. I've decided, or tomorrow lunch. It's funny because when I did the things with the tape with the leftover, the video with the leftover meat this morning, my friend Mary said, "Oh, a pop-up in the middle of the day, how fun!" So I'm gonna do a pop-up again tomorrow, And if you are a person who always went out and got your breakfast sandwich every day, you just had to have a breakfast sandwich, you loved it, and now you can't go out and get that, we are going to make them here tomorrow morning. All you need is sausage. I'm going to confess that for speediness of daycare all the time, I have sausage patties that are pre-cooked and I just have to put them in the microwave for a minute. Super, super. So you're just going to need a sausage of any kind. So if you want to pre-cook your sausage, or if you want to do whatever so you can be cooking along with me tomorrow and you can have that for lunch with us, that would be wonderful. So you're just going to need, I'm going to make one on an English muffin and one on regular bread, and you can see how easy, super, super, super easy it is. I like my yolk a little bit runnier. Tim likes his hard like they do it in the store. I'm not one of those people that has to have it just a certain round like they do in the store, because I like to make my egg be kind of whatever shape the egg comes out and it fries in, that's what I put on the sandwich. I don't worry if it's hanging over the sides because I kind of like that. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. So I just want to get you all excited about that for lunch tomorrow. It's kind of fun because Tim's here, so we could do something in the middle of the day like this. As you can see, this is almost on a boil. You can see that it's wicked close to ready. And as soon as that boils, it boils for 3 minutes. That's called a white sauce. So many cool things start with a white sauce, and macaroni and cheese is one of them. We were talking about making scorched gravy yesterday. I guess I should pick this up. We were talking about making scorched gravy, and scorched gravy is fun like this too, except that instead of doing it and adding a whole bunch of milk to it like this in a saucepan, we are in one of my cast iron frying pans, and we just put the grease in there, we drop flour in, and when it granulates up, that's when we start slowly adding water or milk or whatever we're trying to do for a flavor. So both of those are super simple, and then so many meals are made from either scorched gravy or the white sauce. This white sauce is amazing. I have to admit, when I make my chicken and biscuits or anything like that, my secret to the flavor of mine, and I don't know anybody else that does this because I've never confessed it to anybody before, so I'm going to confess it to you now and give you my secret because it really tastes fabulous. When I do like chicken and biscuits, for instance, when I would roast a chicken, I already make homemade gravy after I roast a chicken, and it's fantastic. We never eat the whole thing because there's a lot of gravy, and what I do is when I make my chicken and biscuits later, I make one quick batch of the white sauce and I add it with my beautiful gravy that I made, and it's got a flavor that's out of this world for the middle of your chicken and biscuits. So here it is. It's on a boil. So I'm going to put my timer on for 3 minutes, and there you go. It's going to boil for 3 minutes. While we're waiting for that to do its thing, and I want to keep stirring it every now and then because you don't want it to have that you don't want it to be singed on the bottom of the pan. You don't want it to burn, so you want to keep it moving. But while we're doing that, and I will keep going over and stirring that every now and then, over here, we will take our sauteed mushrooms, onions, and a little bit of garlic, and whatever else you want to add at this point, this is the time. You'll want to add your peas, or your ham, or your hot dogs that are all diced up, and just, you can even, hot dogs diced up are really cool, but you could also, what would be really cool, a new flavor level, is you could take your hot dogs and put them on the grill. Wouldn't that be cool? And then slice them and dice them up a little bit and throw them in there. I mean, that would be really neat. That would be one more flavor sensation to your dish. See, now I knew I should have done more. I feel like I don't have enough of them in there. So this is almost there. It's halfway there. I'm going to put this to the side for a moment.
You already put cheese in?
Nope, I haven't. This happens afterwards. You can see my butter is melted for our topping afterwards. I used to cook this on 350 for approximately a half an hour, but now started cooking it on 375 because it feels like it takes too long on 350. And while I'm waiting for it to heat up where I want it to heat and to cook, a lot of stuff boils out, and then the macaroni and cheese dries out. Remember, there's nothing in this dish that isn't already pre-cooked, just like our shepherd's pie. Everything is pre-cooked, so all you're trying to do again is marry the flavors and marry the dish together. The thing about macaroni and cheese is I have stopped baking it in the oven, actually, because with daycare, as you can see, I can make this meal in less than 15 minutes, and daycare is really hard to get stuff out there on time with so many kids sometimes, and so they don't wait for it to come out of the oven, and so I don't get to do this last part very often. So with just Tim and I together like this, I'm going to do it for the first time in probably 2 or 3 years. I'm going to do it in the oven, and it's kind of cool. But usually what I do is when this is done, I put, the kids never eat mushrooms or onions. They like it plain. So from here, I just put whatever pasta I have done, and I put it in here. Well, excuse me, let me correct that. Before I put the pasta in, I've got to do the cheeses, which you're going to find out about in a minute. And then I put the pasta in, and the stovetop part is done for all of daycare because they can't wait for it to come out of the oven. They don't want to wait for it to come out of the oven. So it's basically done then. With Tim and I tonight being all alone, whoops, I just turned off the oven. With us being all alone. Hold on, I'm gonna just watch that for a second. Sorry about that, everybody. I had to mute the TV, which for some reason had taken itself off of hold. So now we're at the next pinnacle spot. This is where you put cheeses. And literally, I went in there and said, what do I have for cheeses in my fridge? And that's what you can do. What have I got? I don't tend to put a lot of mozzarella in it anymore because for some reason that changes the consistency of it because it gets stringy and everything, which I like usually, but too stringy and mozzarella and macaroni and cheese doesn't always work. I always throw a couple of these on there because the kids love them. So, you know, I just literally tear it, shred it a little bit, throw a couple of these. This is a mild cheddar, so bada bing, bada boom. Let's see, this is a little bit of Swiss, and hold on, let me get over here for a minute. This is a little bit of Swiss. It's had a little bit, as you can see, a little bit of starting to, it's not mold or anything, so it's not bad, but I don't want to put that in there, so I just cut that off and toss it because it's not bad. It's just starting to dry out, so that's one of the reasons why I chose to use this so that it wouldn't waste. I used the other part of this when I was making quiche, which we're going to make sometime soon. So actually, I think we should make that after Easter because I actually did find a ham for Tim and I yesterday, so a reasonably priced ham. Did it go? Shoot. That was close. Because if it was on the floor, we were done with it. So as you can see, I'm literally just throwing stuff in here. And then I'm going to open up this amazing fresh from the deli. Nice American cheese, white American cheese, which is different than that one. And you can see how cool is that. So you can see the flavors I'm creating here. It's going to be quite a nice mixture of everything. And then I always throw this one little handful on top of mozzarella cheese. Now I'm not going to add anything else yet until you do this to flavor, to taste, to whatever your flavors are, your taste buds say. I'm going to just let this all melt. As you can see, I'm getting it to melt because it's super hot. I'm not on any burner that's on anymore. Just the heat of the white sauce is enough to melt your cheeses together. As you can see, you can still see the salt and pepper, and I mean not the salt, but the pepper that's going around in there that I had. And yeah, you know what else would be fun in here if you're really into veggies? Tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. I mean, I'm just sitting here as I'm stirring it up. I'm starting to think of all the different fun things you could put in here. I'm so used to making it the same exact way because of the daycare children. But with just Tim and I right now, it might be fun to start playing with some different flavors and everything. So I'm going to give it a quick taste and see what it's like. See the stringiness from the mozzarella? That's some serious good taste. So I'm going to, I think we're done there. See how it's no longer a wet, runny milk base. It is still milk based, but it's not wet and runny anymore. You can see it's got some consistency and some thickness to it.
Now it's cheesy.
It's definitely cheesy. So now I'm going to take a minute to quickly pour, and I don't know if I'm going to use all this pasta or not. So I'm going to just take some of this pasta and put it in here for now. Just kind of, I don't have enough mushrooms and onions in here. I can already tell proportionately. I knew I should have cut more. Anyways, and then I'm going to go like this. And I will only add more pasta if I feel like I have way too much sauce when I'm done this, so, which it looks like I do, so. Oh, I wish there was some way you could smell how wonderful this smells. And oh, that one's done. Oh, that's okay, leave it there, I'll fix it later. Nice
yeah, but it's not my fault.
Nice showing everybody that. Back up here, babe. Don't worry, it's okay. I'll clean it up in a minute. Sorry, guys. Things are getting out of hand here today. Get it? Getting out of hand? Okay, I guess not. So I think I'm going to have some of those left, and I can make a quick little, like tuna fish or chicken salad, chicken salad tomorrow with this. Like tuna, it would be great with tuna and some peas and onions and a few different things there. That would be kind of good. So. Ooh, this looks fantastic. Oh, I wish you could smell this, how wonderful it is, guys. Sorry that you can't.
Let me get closer with the phone.
Yeah, like
that. Smell?
That's not going to work, baby cakes. But, yeah, see how I'm just kind of really mixing it up good here. And look, all these ingredients you have hanging around your house, I'm sure. Maybe not the mushrooms, but I have a ton of onions because Tim and I, you gotta pan over to this over here. I mean, we never are without our onions. I consistently have a bowl like this on the counter at all times. So, yeah, I have to say, that is what we do. Okay, so, here we go. And it looks like it's a good ratio of cheesiness to, because I want to put it in the oven enough to marry it together, but I don't want to dry it out. So, it's still wet here and there. Oh, yes, I forgot I had turned the oven off. Here we're going to get it up to speed again. It's almost there. And now what you're doing is, push all this aside for now. But see how you can use any cheese, whatever. You could put Monterey Jack in this if you wanted to have a little bit of spice or a little bit of something fun. You can, any cheese, you just go to your refrigerator, or you can make sure like I did. This cheese was going to go by in a few days, and I just cut off the dry patches and I threw some of it in there. So this is definitely one of those things that are great because it's anything you have on hand. And the flavor, it just ends up being so much fun. Timothy, why are you doing that? I can't believe you're doing that. So I don't know if you're all noticing these beautiful little towels I've been wiping my hands on here. That I always keep one on my stove and one on my fridge. And they're compliments of two wonderful people that have been in my life forever and ever. Mary Bryce Hislop's mother, Audra Bryce, made them for me for years. And then after she stopped making them, my absolute best friend, Pat Stimson, makes them now for me. And so I have a whole bunch of these so that I can switch them, not just one a day, but as they get wet, I can switch out during the day, and I still have enough because I never have it more than a day. I don't use my washcloth in my kitchen for dishes more than once a day, and I don't use towels more than once a day, and that's if they make it to a whole day. I have something against that. So this is what we're doing. Real easy, and this of course is just so buttery and fun. Just smush it. Can you see that I'm just smushing them up? Literally, they're just random smushy. And then of course you saw that there was butter underneath there because you watched me put it in the microwave to melt it. And we're just pulling all we're doing is pulling the butter from the bottom to coat them up so they're not dry, but I'm not overkill with the butter. See, I put maybe a half a stick in there. It was about half a stick. And see how you can see they're just glistening, so they've all got a little bit of butter on them. Not that Ritz crackers aren't buttery enough, but you don't want them to go in dry because then they'll kind of, I feel like if you put them in dry, they make that dry. I feel like you really have to have
suck the moisture in.
Probably. So they have to already have a little moisture in them. And then you just throw it on top. Go to the edges, just like we did with our shepherd's pie. Go to the edges. And there you go. And we're going to pop that right in the oven. It's going to be on 375 for not more than a half an hour. If I were you, because some ovens are really warm, I would check it at the 15-20 minute level. Definitely check it, and because you don't want that to bubble over, and you don't want the high heat to suck all the moisture of it into the macaroni, and then it becomes dry. It's already, you can see how creamy it was, and you want it to be creamy as it's coming out of the oven. So that's what's for dinner tonight. I'll see you in the morning, and we can have breakfast sandwiches together. That'll be far better than any corner place that you buy them at, because there'll be hours we'll make them, and then you may, oh my gosh, you may never buy another one. You can start making them yourself, packing them and taking them to work. And I don't remember what's for dinner tomorrow night, but I'll tell you in the morning when I do remember. So cheers, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Bye.